Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Winnie Gansty from the Naughty Dog of Victoria, BC, author of That's a Dog Thinker.
And Jill Brown from Calgary, Alberta, the bag lady. This is going to be a bad.
Good evening, Jilly Willy. Thank you for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about latchkey dogs. And what I mean by that is back when, and now I sound like my grandmother, people used to go to work from 9 to 5. They would get a puppy. Puppy would stay home. They'd come home, walk their dog, play with their dog, whatever else.
Clean up after their dog because it had been alone for 8 hours.
Exactly.
And it had found something fun to do.
Yes. But that was normal. That was expected.
Yep.
And now it's almost abnormal to leave your dog. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons that we see as a result in dogs coming from this. It may be a very short podcast. Let's see.
There's a lot of breeders and rescues and humane societies that won't sell or adopt dogs to people that have full-time jobs. They just don't think that the dog should be left alone for 8 hours. And it's not ideal, but it's better than being stuck in a run at a humane society or worse. Like, my guys might be alone for not usually 8 hours, but it's a day that they're alone for. But then when I come home, we do fun stuff, and we do fun stuff in the morning before I go to work. And
what about the dogs that aren't being left alone? They're the ones I want to talk about. What are we seeing in those? What I'm seeing is dogs that are never being left alone, and they're coming, like, if they're getting a puppy, they have person B ready to step in if they need to go get groceries, and then there's person C that will babysit the dog if grocery babysitter is unable to do it. So you're getting this generation of dogs that are never being left alone, ever.
Yep.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm an introvert. And that right there is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
To never be left alone.
Yeah, please.
Kill me now.
Please
I'm just going to go in my pond and...
I was thinking about that after you had said that this is what you wanted to talk about today. My dogs enjoy some time alone. I shouldn't say that. They follow me around, but they want to just be chilling. There's no reason why dogs can't learn to chill without somebody there. And all we're creating is a dog that when you actually do have to leave them alone for 10 minutes...
Can't cope.
They have no idea how to cope.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't even go outside to do a poop on their own.
Yep.
Do it at the back door at best. Like, yep. They need to be able to stand on their own 4 feet and go explore and do dog things. And these dogs that are never being left cannot function. But it's not, I was trying to think how we can even put this into words, like what we're seeing. But I think with these dogs, like I have one here right now. I've had several of these dogs this week, which has been making me think about this. And what is this stressy, closed dog that needs to just be put out to pasture, so to speak, like locked in my backyard and left alone for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and just leave them, let them pace back and forth or do whatever they want to do, whatever their dog thing is that they want to do. They need that more than anything when they've never had a chance to be left. And they need that day after day after day. And it's not until they've done many hours of just being left that A, they can start to cope with it, and B, that they're then ready to move on.
I don't think this was as big of an issue before COVID, but did you see it before COVID?
I don't think so. I'm sure I did, but I don't think like now. No. Okay, no, I didn't. Because you know why? People weren't working from home.
Yeah.
So you may have a retired person, but at that moment in time, the retired person prior to being retired had lived and worked, gone and gotten groceries and stuff like that. So it's a more normal life for the dog. It's since, you are right, it's since COVID with people working at home.
And I think with the people that are retired, because they went through it with dogs previously, it's normal for them to pack up and go do something for 4 or 5 hours. They don't feel horrible about leaving their dog alone. Like this new, I don't know, the new
Generation.
guilty generation of, yeah, can't leave your dog alone for 10 or 15 minutes.
These poor dogs. This is where I come at it from. Like these poor dogs.
I know.
Like they get their hand held everywhere. But it got me to thinking. I had a medical appointment this week and I was talking to my practitioner. And the conversation was about how kids nowadays can't cope. So she's seeing adults come into her clinic, like young adults, but they're bringing mummy and daddy with them because they can't do the stressful appointment on their own. They need mummy and daddy there.
Yep.
And I have seen similar in my classes here and in private lessons as well.
Yep.
That mummy and daddy are tagging along. And so we're seeing it in the people in this way, that they're unable to cope, which is what got me to thinking. Because I've been mulling over 3 dogs all this week. And the only way I've been able to get improvements in these dogs, there's a whole bunch of things I've been doing with these dogs. But number one, if they feel too much praise coming at them, they turn off. Isn't that fascinating? If they get told too much, good boy, well done, super job, they're like, fuck you. And they just exit stage left. They just turn and walk away, like totally turned off. It's just too much.
Is that praise coming from you, or is that like
me
good
too?
Boy? Okay, so it's not just when they're being told they're super because they just had a pee and they just can't deal.
They have been. They have been. So if my voice got squealy, super, they're just like, you're like that too, and just walk away. And then if their praise wasn't deserved or is too much, they're just like, oh, you too. And they just disengage and leave, which I find fascinating. But you know what? Those dogs are really easy to train. They really are. They just want to be ignored. It's just like, this way, good boy. That's all they need.
They just need to be allowed to be dogs.
They need to be allowed to be dogs. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was one of the things I noticed was if they get praise that they didn't deserve or praise in a high pitch, they're offended by it. Like they judge you instantly, like, oh, you too. And then retraining these dogs, we almost need to go away, get out of here, make them go away. Because everyone's trying so desperately to keep them with them. And that trying is making these dogs just like desperate not to be there, to be anywhere but there.
They need to be able to entertain themselves.
They need to be able to entertain themselves, and you want them to choose to be with you. You shouldn't be begging them to be with you.
Yeah.
So once you're like, no, go away. Go on, go play in traffic. Then they're like, but maybe I want to be with you.
Maybe it's more fun over here if you're trying to get rid of me.
Yeah. So I have seen that working with them. Oh, my goodness. It's silly things like they don't even know how to eat their dinner unless they're told.
Yeah.
Or on a walk, they don't know how to leave you and go ahead. Like they go ahead 3 steps and look at you for approval and then come back into heel position, then go ahead 3 steps, look at you for approval. Like they don't even know how to leave and be a dog.
I think a lot of those are because all they've ever known is being walked either on a leash or on a flexi. And they get used to only having that certain amount of distance. So they do. They have to ask for, this is as far as I've ever been. Can I go further?
Yeah.
When you said that the younger generation now, like young adults, are needing mom or dad to go to the doctor with them, do you think that is because of all the homeschooling?
I've no idea.
I feel like that's got something to do with it. They really haven't had to go out on their own and deal with life in general.
Next time one of them comes to an appointment with their parents, I'll be sure to ask if they were homeschooled.
Do so, please, and get back to me, because I'll be willing to bet they are.
Some of them are like very accomplished. So it's not like they haven't done things with their lives. They have. They've gone to university. They've done well. They've gotten amazing careers, but just bring mummy and daddy to the appointments.
Wow. Huh. Can't even imagine. Mom, will you come to my gynecology appointment with me? So,
But I'm just going back to that. These are obviously people, though, that have accomplished huge things. So they've been able to sit major exams, go away to university, be interviewed, get an amazing job. But then it's daily life that they're not able to cope with.
I was going to say those are things that they have to do.
Yeah.
Like, I deal with a bunch of anxiety, but sometimes I've got to just close my eyes and go, this is something I just have to deal with. I hate it, but I've got to get through it. I think maybe that's how they're dealing with like university and exams and stuff. That's their big anxiety, that they have to suck it up and do it. But the rest of life can still be easy with the help of mom and dad.
Now, I think each generation of kids is getting softer. Is each generation of dogs getting softer too?
I don't know if they're getting softer, but there's certainly... I was at work the other day driving down the road, and almost every dog that I passed was walking with its tail down or tucked at the end of the leash, doing like the head spinning thing, making sure it was checking out every single corner that was out there.
Oh, that's sad.
And I think that is so common now. Like you don't very often see a dog out there that's walking along confidently, just enjoying its time out. And I don't know if that goes with being softer so much as just being protected from everything.
So a few things come to mind. Not having opportunity for safe off leash.
Yep.
I think the way that we're training puppies, like we're taking all the stuffing out of them with positive reinforcement and kindness, we're taking all the stuffing out of them very, very young. We're teaching them to be too biddable before they learn to be bad.
Yep. Yep. I learned not to be bad or I'd get a wooden spoon.
Did you ever get the wooden spoon?
Actually, I think I cried before Mom got to my room. She was in giving my brother the wooden spoon, and I figured crying was the only thing she wanted. So he might have got 5 or 6 along with the, don't ever do that again. And I'd get 1. But yes.
Dilly Brown.
Yes, I got the wooden spoon. But I was thinking. But yeah, it builds resilience. If all you do is tell your puppy how wonderful they are, or
even if it doesn't build resilience, it taught you to think through pressure.
Exactly.
Cry and you only get 1.
How do I'm like, all she wants is me to cry. So it's true. She'd come in, I'd already be crying, and I would get, don't do it again. I'd get 1 smack. While my brother's in there swearing at me because he got 7 or 8, depending on how long her sentence was.
Oh, dear.
My mom was wonderful. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think it's...
I think the stress of creating a little puppy and having them cry and go through that, I think that's a valuable piece.
Yeah.
And I think definitely being left alone. Like, these dogs aren't being left alone.
So, what's our advice? Like, how do people get out of this mindset?
One of the things that I was always taught was to put your dog in a kennel overnight at 8 to 10 months old. Overnight, let them go away to sleep for the night. So depends on the type of dog I have where I'm sending them, but every one of your dogs needs to be
going to somebody else's place, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, dear God. Oh, my anxiety just peaked.
But it's a good thing for dogs to be able to do. Your dogs we're not even going to discuss it. We'll leave you out of this conversation. Jill couldn't even let Sizzle come upstairs without her.
I couldn't. Except for the time that she rolled in the goose poop, and then I was happy to give her to you before you realized what she had done. Okay, I can relate with people. Why that's a tough thing to do. I do agree that it's a really good thing to do.
I would have absolutely no problem giving you Harry for a month.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
I'm joking on a month. I would have absolutely no problem with Harry sleeping at your house overnight or for a weekend. None.
Pippa?
No, Pippa. Yeah, absolutely. Fine. She slept at Charmian's.
I could probably do it now. Sizzle was in a little bit of a sensitive time in her life at that point.
Which is why she needed it.
Yes, but
now that she doesn't need it, you could do it. But when she needed it, you couldn't.
It's true. It's true. Because I was like, I can't do that to her. She'll just crumble. But you're right. That was when I should have done it.
Yep. One thing is the boarding of the dogs overnight. It's good for dogs to be able to spend a night away. Because realistically, they're going to have to spend a night overnight at the vets when they get spayed or neutered.
They come home same day.
True.
But there may be a time when they have to stay overnight at a vet clinic.
There will be.
Yeah.
And you never know what emergencies are going to happen in our lives that we need someone to take care of our dogs.
Exactly.
So
but that
even if it's an in-house pet sitter or something, they need that experience. They need to see what could happen to you in your life. They need to experience all of those things.
We've got people that won't even leave their dog alone to go shopping. Like, they won't crate them for an hour while they go out to run some errands. How are we going to convince them to leave their dog overnight or for a weekend with a friend?
The reality is your parents in Toronto end up having a heart attack and needing surgery and someone to take care of them for a week. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you're on a plane to Toronto. That's the way the world works.
And the one person that can look after your animal works a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you might have a safe place to put them, but they're going to be alone for the day. And they need to be schooled in that. They just have to realize that
it's a possibility.
Sometimes life changes and you have to be able to roll with the punches.
I can't imagine raising a puppy not in a crate. Not that I raise a puppy in a crate, but without a crate. Oh, it'd be awful. Like, my puppies, I take them on a walk in the morning, come home, I give them breakfast, and I put them in a crate. Then I jump in the shower and get ready for work.
Yep.
If I couldn't do that, how would I shower without them destroying my underwear and my socks?
Exactly. You'd come out of the shower and you would get to clean house and pick up stuff that they had stolen, and which is what we did. Like, when I was a kid,
that's what we did.
Yeah. I hate to think of it. I'm not even going to think of what we did with our dogs when crates didn't exist. They were just like tied up to a table leg, so they didn't have run of the
Yeah.
house. It was awful. Now they've got a kennel, and there's people that think kennels are horrible, but
Tied up to a table leg isn't horrible. I'm not saying I would do it, but it's not horrible. How's that different than a crate?
to me, in a crate, at least they aren't tied up. I did it. I didn't. But that was what my parents did when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
now looking back, I would never do that with a dog.
Yeah.
I'd rather have them in a crate where they can move around and they can be upside down and they can kick up their bed and whatnot.
They can still be upside down if they're tied to a chair.
Their crate is a den, though, and they
I
like
know.
that closed-in area. Just being tied up to a table? No, I wouldn't.
I am going to say with any dog that might try and fight to get out of a crate or a naughty little puppy, do not use the wire metal crates because the welds on those crates can pop off, and I have seen substantial injuries from dogs. Or I haven't seen, I've heard of those bars pop off. It went through one dog's jaw, it went through another dog's foot. Terrible, terrible injuries from those crates. So if you have an escape artist or a naughty dog, do not put them in there if they need to go in a proper plastic crate.
Yep. I even think with puppies, X-pens scare me.
I don't.
I
They
know
fall over too easily.
I know somebody whose puppy tried to climb out of the X-pen and got a leg through and was hanging there for who knows how long before she came home from work.
Did it break its leg?
I don't think it did, but it was pretty sore for a while, and there's just too many things that can go wrong with an X-pen. They're a great thing, but I wouldn't be leaving dogs in it for long periods of time.
It depends on the dog. Some dogs are just destined to try and kill themselves. Today, I pottied Harry before I taught a lesson early this morning, and I saw him take off. Like, I'm standing on the top of a hill watching him. So I'm looking down the hill up on the other side, which is where he was looking before he ran. I'm like, what was he looking at? So I'm trying to see what it was he saw. And just as I do that, he comes into my vision. Now he's run up the hill on the other side and boings into a fence. Like, bloody hell. Full tilt, ran into a fence and boinged off like it was a trampoline. I'm like, great. Stitches?
What kind of a fence was it?
It was a metal square one.
I had a dog that ran full force, like at full speed, into a chain link fence because she was looking up, chasing a bird. And didn't see the chain link fence. Like, same thing. She hit it. She bounced off backwards. She landed, like, on her back. I thought she was dead.
Oh.
And then she got up, and I took her home, and my boyfriend at the time said, I think she knocked the heat out of her because she was sitting on my lap, and she's in season. Anyway, that was when I realized that she needed something in her life to be able to break that obsessive run. Like, she had to learn that when I called her, she had to stop what she was doing. But yeah, terrifying. Like, literally a bounce off of a vertical trampoline.
Yeah. It really didn't faze Harry.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
He just ran back full tilt. Tonight he was standing in the kitchen and he had a little bit of an odd look on his face and his tail was down. So I think it may have hurt.
He may have been a little sore, yeah.
He's not admitting it now with his unicorn, but there was a moment there where he told the story.
Once mine got up, because she was in a pile for a while, I was like, oh dear, while I got up to her. Once she got up, she was like, now what? But yeah,
so are these those non-latchkey moments that we're talking about here? It is.
Those are the dogs that you don't put in an X-pen.
Yeah. Can you imagine a dog like Harry never being left alone unattended? Actually, he'd be quite happy. But never being off leash he'd go crazy. There's a Malinois I see every day. Not every day. I see him multiple times a week. And he lives in a residential neighborhood, and he gets his walk around the block every day on leash with the cars and the other dogs. And it was funny because the other day I was walking Harry in that neighborhood before I was teaching. And they all did a triple take on Harry as they saw him. Because my dog's ripped and muscular and fit and looks like a Malinois should look. And theirs looks like a Labrador. Like he's so barrel-chested and fat with no muscle because he's never running. It's so sad seeing this dog. So sad. And his tail's down and he's just like on the most boring walk in the world. And
yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And then there's Harry with his tail up and he's looking around at what's happening. And
Harry goes from pea spot to pea spot. He thinks his walks are amazing when he does residential walks. Wow.
Bloody boys.
Yeah. Disgusting boys. All right.
Okay. Latchkey dogs.
Yeah.
So,
what would you do if you asked your dogs to engage with you and they just walked away?
I'd probably run up behind them and tweak them in the butt. I wouldn't let them just walk away if I was wanting to engage with them.
Yep. I'm thinking of the dogs in my world that aren't left, that have no motivation for their work.
You can't really blame them. I mean,
it's because it's always non-stop attention.
If I was around you 24/7, would I really want to do stuff with you?
Yeah.
If you asked me to do something, would I want to do it with you? I'd be like, no, I've been around you for the last 23 hours. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how people do it in retirement.
Let me know. I don't know. I know that there are a lot of competitive people that, and I don't condone this, but a lot of competitive people whose dogs basically live in kennels or in runs unless they're being worked. So that the dog, when they come out, they're so excited to engage with you, they give 110%. That's not my ideal. But I also don't want a dog that's around me 24 hours a day so that when I want to do something with them, they're like, ugh, really?
If I'm out, Harry has a chain link dog run that I put him in where he's safe and the chickens are also safe.
Yeah.
As are my kitchen counters while he's in there. And it's his bedroom. He's got his nice bed in there. He's got his stuffed toy and his water bowl, and he's happy. And he actually does just sleep and chill in there. So I like my chain link dog run for Harry. Fika, who is my other working dog, gets left and just yells at me from a window if I'm still here. And I'm not sure if she actually settles and sleeps while I'm gone, because as soon as I drive out the driveway, hers is the first little head I see in the window pop up now. So I think she's just busy around here. But I think for Fika too, though, she's only been with me a month. It's also new.
A month isn't new anymore.
True.
Suck it up, lady.
In dog terms, you're right.
But Harry's that's his safe space. That's not where he is all the time unless you're working him.
No. I believe every dog deserves... Not every dog. Be careful of the broad rules you make. But like house dogs, our domestic dogs are not true working dogs. They need that house time. They need the time to bond with you, to be in here, to just live in harmony with us, because there's going to come a day they're retired that they're going to be in here all the time.
Did your police dogs have house time with you?
Yes,
So all of them. I
all of them
think
have.
I think you're right when you say all dogs, like when you backpedaled and said careful what you say.
I,
I
I
think
was
all
thinking,
dogs.
I was thinking guardian dogs, dogs like flock guardian.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
But the
what I was thinking, like
but the
sheepdogs.
majority of them don't want to be in the house. They want to be with their flock.
That's that's why I said
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that
Okay.
was my backpedaling.
Okay.
If my sheep lived here, I think Pippa would rather live outside and just watch them. I don't know if she would ever want to come back in, but
Do
they
you think?
don't.
Oh, I don't think
Yeah,
so. I think Pippa loves you enough that she'd want to be in the house.
she loves me because I take her to sheep. I'm aware of my place.
Okay, maybe.
I know my position in this world. It's okay.
You love Pippa. Pippa likes you.
Pippa loves me. I'm her car ride to her favorite thing.
Oh my God.
I'm her access point. Today I went to let my sheep out and then we walked from there and Pippa didn't come. She just stayed and watched her sheep. The rest of us had a nice walk.
Oh, Pippa.
We picked her up on the way home.
She's very serious. She has a job to do.
She does. On that note, Patrick is so ugly. I'm very sad. He used to be so cute and he's not a very good looking sheep. As a lamb, he was very cute. As a sheep, he's a bit of a failure.
Wow.
Poor Patrick.
He's not a confirmation sheep.
No. He has donkey ears. Poor Patrick. He never wanted to be fugly.
Oh boy. That was Prada.
That was Prada, not Jill farting.
Yeah. Prada was like, "Are we done?"
I remember when Rupert came back to me after that, was it 24 or 48 hours that he was gone?
Oh, the worst
When he
48
came
hours
back,
of his life.
yeah, he was so frantic and then had separation anxiety when he came back.
Yeah.
And I remember how difficult it was leaving Rupert because I'd given him away. He'd gone back to his owner.
You hadn't given him away. The owner took him back.
He wasn't my dog, so he left and went back to his person. But in his head, I had given him away. And then when he came back, he was so clingy and desperate and frantic not to let me out of his sight. And that took some time to get that out of him.
I think he's still a little bit like that.
I do too.
I remember waking up in Port Alice to him howling because you left him behind.
Yeah.
And I was ready to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still doesn't like to be left. But he didn't have the best start, so can't really blame him.
He has no eyeballs now. Poor Rupert. He's had a really rough life.
Yes. I'm being facetious there. He's not had a rough life. He's had some unfortunate incidences, but his life has been pretty good with you.
Yes.
Other than the eye thing.
The eye thing's rather substantial.
It is, but his life is still pretty good.
Yeah. What are the consequences of dogs being like shipped to daycare and stuff like that? See, I think having a dog walker come into your home, a good dog walker, I must be very clear there. Good dog walkers are worth their weight in gold. They take your dog on a hike. They'll teach it to come back because they don't want to lose it. And they also have to train their own client dogs because otherwise they can't walk them easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get free training and your dog gets to go on an amazing hike and keep his social skills and you get to work. So I think dog walkers solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. I don't have such great things to say about daycares. I can't hear you, Jill. You've cut out. Unless you're just mouthing. What?
Sorry, it's a nice option so your dog doesn't have to be home for the full 8 hours while you're at work. For somebody to come and take them out for a walk. But like you said, it's got to be a good dog walker.
And there are bad ones.
Oh, yes, there are.
And don't ask on Facebook, who's a good dog walker, so that all of their friends can answer and tell you this non-ethical person is the one you should use. Ask your vet or your groomer or your trainer. Ask people in the business who love your dog.
Yeah, or people who use a dog walker and ask what their experience has been there. That's my pet peeve on Facebook. I need a vet. Who do you recommend? Everybody just throws out their vet.
I know.
Unless you've had a bad experience, everybody just throws out their own vet. It doesn't really give you any information at all. But I do, yeah. Dog walkers, I think, are a good thing.
Yep.
Daycare, not so much.
Daycares keep me in business.
Yeah.
As
probably.
do dog parks.
Yeah. But daycare, to send your dog away to a daycare for 8 hours a day, yeah, you come home and you have an exhausted dog.
Some of them aren't. They're just too overstimulated.
There's that truth too, yeah. But it alleviates the guilt of being of leaving your dog alone all day. But honestly, I don't know.
Your dog should rather be left alone.
Exactly. I'm like, if they're anything like me, I'd rather have an 8-hour day by myself than an 8-hour day stuck with 30 other people and have to interact with them.
Yeah. I think we give a lot away about our own personalities on this podcast.
You think?
Alison said to me this week, she was buying me a T-shirt, and the T-shirt says, "I can be meaner."
Do it, Alison.
So I asked her if she was buying one for herself too.
Can she get me one too, please?
What size are you, Jill?
Shut up.
No, I'm asking because I told Alison, I'm a large, Alison. Buy me a large, please.
Good God.
I think that's super.
Can she get it in navy blue so I can wear it to work?
I can be meaner.
Either that or the fluorescent yellow safety color.
Oh dear. Why did I say that? Why did I tell you that? What was the segue into that? I can't remember.
Good.
Yeah.
Have we covered anything really with regards to latchkey dogs?
No. Leave your dogs alone.
Exactly. When they're puppies, leave them.
That's the moral of the story. Leave your dogs alone. As a puppy, make sure you leave them in a crate for a minimum of 2 hours a day. And by the time they're...
2 hours at a time.
Yes.
Yes.
And by the time they're 6 months old, 8 months old, you should be able to leave them regularly for a minimum of 6 hours.
Yep.
Go. And if you don't have a job and you do work from home, get the hell out of there. Leave them alone. Go.
Yeah.
You're evicted from your house. You need to go to a restaurant or a coffee shop and work.
Yeah. Or put the dog in the kennel in a different room. They still need to have their own time in their own space where they can just chill.
Leave them alone. They need it so badly. And then make sure they're getting off-leash walks in places that they actually want to walk. I have my sketchy boarding dog here now. So he's still here. I've made such progress with him. He is so happy now, this dog. I love it. He's so happy. He's so open and free. And we did an off-leash walk in a neighborhood. Like, he's doing off-leash walks, different places every day. And now we're doing off-leash public walks. He's amazing. This dog's so cool. And the best part is the only correction this dog has gotten from me was on Monday night. Of all the darling dogs, he jumped across to eat Doodle Finn.
Oh.
And it's the only time he's done it with me since he's been here. But as he did it, I was walking forward. He cut off in front of me, and I stepped on his foot. It wasn't even intentional. I just stepped on his foot. And at the same time, I gave him a pop for hey for doing that, but the pop was nothing because I stepped on his foot, and he was most apologetic.
Those perfectly timed, unintentional corrections.
So this dog was not going to let me cut his toenails, and they are so long. Like if I'm biking him and that, I'm going to injure his feet. His nails are so long. So I tried a few days ago, and it was dicey. I got 3 done. It was longer than that. I think we even talked about it. I got a few done and thought, my life is worth more than this. I only have one hand anyway. So I quit. And then continued on, and he can't move properly with his nails this long. So I'm like, fine, I'm doing it. So today was the day. So I don't have a muzzle here because I so rarely use muzzles. I'm not a huge fan of muzzles. And we should talk about that. Muzzles. I'm writing it down.
Okay.
So I don't have a muzzle. The one I have, I couldn't find because I need it. So, of course, I can't find it. But what I did have was a Velcro singular strap.
Yep.
So I put this singular strap around his nose and cut his nails. So he went to grumble on one of them, but he couldn't do anything because he had a Velcro strap around his nose. Took it off, told him how super he was, and then went on to brushing him. So now he's off leash. I'm just, whatever, following him around outside. So he's got his 2 front legs up on the back of my van, and he wants in his crate. So I'm brushing him, and he air snaps at my face.
Oh. That was a bad life choice.
I said I hadn't corrected him. I have. He got corrected for air snapping at my face.
Yeah.
But as I was doing that, though, it made me think, like, he's allowed to get away with stuff like this, or he wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, and this makes me think of my Cooper dog when I first got him.
Yeah.
If he was that close and air snapped at your face, if he had wanted to, he could have gotten you.
Absolutely. It was a bluff.
Yeah.
It was 100% a bluff. He didn't intend to. He warned me very nicely.
Yeah. So still.
And I warned him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A snap at my face ain't cool.
It's not.
But it was a bluff. He had no intention of doing it.
Yeah.
But I still want my nose.
I remember I learned that lesson from a vet friend of mine. And my Cooper dog had snapped at my nephew, who was about 2 years old at the time. And he had actually left spit on his face. And I was beside myself. I was like, I cannot have a dog that's going to bite children.
But he didn't.
And she was like, how close was he? I said, he left spit on his face. And she said, then he could have taken his face off.
Yeah.
And he didn't. That was a big warning.
He showed amazing bite inhibition.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of your Cooper dog, he was saying he didn't like babies.
Yep.
And you don't have them, so it's not really an issue. In the case of my dog, I'm grooming him. That's just not allowed. Yep. You're not allowed to tell me to do that.
Yeah.
I was being gentle. It was minimal. And even if it wasn't, suck it up, buddy. But I think it was probably some overlap from the nails.
Speaking of the nails, when you're trimming nails, how are you doing them? Like how
he was standing up, and okay. I just was buckling underneath him.
Okay. I wanted to touch on that because for years working in vet medicine, doing nails was always put them on the table, lay them on their side, and do their nails. And
I used to do it that way, and I've changed.
It's such an awful position for the dogs to be in.
Yeah.
And when I was working, I said to them, can we just try this with them standing like you would do a horse?
Yeah.
And it's such a difference for dogs. If they're allowed to just stand up while you're doing their toenails rather than that big amount of restraint.
The foo-foos, generally like the doodles and that, they're very happy like being in between your legs, on their back, cuddling. but I think they're so used to it from grooming too. So there's a certain type of dog. The fluffies, the soft ones, they're quite happy laying down, being cuddled as they're doing it. The strong dogs, they want to stand like a horse.
Yep. Yep.
So they stand like a horse.
Yep. I have a bench on my front porch that my dogs jump up onto, and I do them on the bench,
Yeah.
say like a horse, and they're much happier than being in any kind of a restraint position.
Yeah. Harry and Johnny stand like a horse. Pippa has to roll over because she's so terrible to do. Rupert, depends on the day. Generally, he stands like a horse with no legs.
Guess sausage.
Yeah. Fika's amazing. She just flops in between my legs. She wants hers done. Yeah. Muzzles. Let's talk about muzzles. There's a kind of a trend of making muzzles the norm. Like every dog should learn to be muzzled. Why?
Right? Oh my God.
Why? Why should every dog learn to be muzzled?
I get so
This is
frustrated
ridiculous.
with I get frustrated with these trends.
Train your freaking dog. Just because you can't train your dog doesn't mean everyone else should muzzle theirs because you're too embarrassed to admit you couldn't train yours.
If you're spending that much time,
Sorry, in a voice.
If you're
In a voice and tangent.
if you're going to spend that much time getting your dog used to wearing a muzzle, and they're spending weeks teaching this dog to put their nose in, sniff it, put their nose in a little harder, put it in, get it clipped on. If you're going to spend that much time getting them used to wearing a muzzle, why not spend that time just teaching them that they have to stand there and accept what's being done?
Amen.
Like
I agree.
I don't understand it.
Now, I'm all for using muzzles when there's a time and a place. Like, certain dogs need muzzles. They do. Certain dogs do. But it doesn't mean everyone needs to learn to wear one. It's just the dogs that need them need to wear one.
Yeah.
The others don't.
And I guess part of that goes to the people that can control their dogs. Like, you could go in with one of your dogs not needing a muzzle.
Yep.
There's other people that can go in with the same dog that would need to put a muzzle on because they can't control them. And I have no problem with vet clinics wanting to muzzle dogs that are even slightly sketchy if the owners can't control them.
Save your hands.
Absolutely.
No vet needs to retire because of one dog.
That is their income.
Yes.
Their hands are their income, and if they get damaged, that's the end of that. But to try to convince the general public that every dog should wear a muzzle,
It's coming from dog trainers, Jill. It's coming from like the SPCA and dog trainers.
Can you imagine me? Can you imagine Prada if she had to wear a muzzle?
Sizzle.
She'd be beside herself.
Sizzle would rather be dead.
Exactly.
Pippa. Pippa would be mortified.
But again, it's just something on social media that's now a trend that is going to get a bunch of hits from people that are just looking for people to watch their channels.
So if you don't have an issue with your dog, don't muzzle train them. This is ridiculous. And if you do have an issue with your dog, fix the issue. If you're unable to fix the issue or your dog is too dangerous, teach him to wear a muzzle.
Yeah.
And they may only need them in certain situations, like my dog's super, but if he's confined in a little waiting room at the vet, or like the little checkout room, sometimes that confined space can make them quite edgy and not very nice, German Shepherds in particular. Muzzle him when you're going in there. That's fine. But it doesn't mean you have to muzzle him on his walks too.
Exactly. Or if they're injured, fair enough. Because any dog is going to react if they're injured. There is a time and a place for a muzzle, but it's not every dog and every place and every time.
When it comes to the vet tech, stuff like that, this is their career. It's not even negotiation. If they want one on him, put it on. Unless you can bet your annual paycheck that nothing is going to happen, you need to listen. But to go for a walk in the park or just because whatever, you don't need to muzzle condition them. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Can I send out a big thank you to my vet clinic?
By all means.
When I took Sizzle in for something, I think it was a dental, and she can be a little weird and noise sensitive, so I had said to them, just be careful when she's recovering. Any kind of noise will freak her out. And I got a text from my vet clinic, from my vet, showing a picture of the technician sitting on the ground having his lunch next to my dog. Like, he just sat down and ate lunch next to her so that she would recover with somebody there with him.
And she didn't eat all his lunch?
She was still out of it, but...
that's so sweet.
I was like, wow, yeah. There are some pretty amazing technicians out there.
There are a lot of dog professionals who truly love dogs.
Yes.
And there are a lot of pet professionals that are burned out and don't.
Yeah. It's sad, but it...
And know who you're picking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad when you get into the profession because that's what you want to do because you love animals. And then you have to deal with all the garbage that comes with it, and it...
burns you out.
Yeah, you just get burnt out, yeah.
And then your clients buy you a t-shirt that says, I can be meaner.
Honestly, I need one of those. I truly do. I'm texting Allison.
Allison's going to have a successful business selling these.
Yeah.
Should we just write the naughty dog on the back and run with this?
Yes. Yes. Can we put the bag
lift
lady?
Your leg?
Can we put the bag lady too so that we all get hits for it?
Lift your leg, the naughty dog, the bag lady.
Yep. Wow.
It's brilliant.
That's funny. Yeah. And if anybody wants a I Can Be Meaner t-shirt, just message us here. We'll pass it along to Allison.
Who's bulk ordering at this moment in time.
I can't believe I haven't seen that t-shirt. That's funny.
It's funny. Wow. I'm at the end of my work week. Thursday's my last day. And now it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is time for me to train my dogs. And it's so funny because I leave the job of training dogs for money, my living, and now I go to the weekend of training dogs for no money. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to go train my dogs tomorrow. It's pathetic.
But it's your own dogs, and it's...
Well, and it's the people I work with too. So it's two other people with me.
And you get to see your own dogs progressing, and
there's 5 dogs and 3 women. And it's so exciting. Working stuff out, watching everyone improve. Courtney fixed Sheila's healing. Thanks, Courtney.
I was just going to say, who's the third woman? Because I thought it was David.
David is the third woman. Sorry, Brienne.
Sorry, David.
It wasn't me saying that. It was Jill.
Yeah.
Way to spread rumors. David's up here next week.
Oh, say hello. Buy him some grapes.
Yeah. We can actually share this, can't we? Can this one go out? Jill's killing herself laughing now. How did this come out, this conversation?
No, we know that part we can't share.
I'm not going to say what you did with a grape.
I did nothing with a grape. It was the stone.
Jill is so naughty. She shouldn't be allowed out in public. She's so naughty. Did you make David blush? She's laughing too hard. She can't even talk right now. She's just wheezing. She's going to poke herself in her eye with her pen. She's back on another round of laughter. Did we make David blush? Answer me that.
Yes, we did.
Oh, dear. See, training dogs is so much fun. It really is. Like, you end up having, like, such fun relationships with people. Actually, it's not always fun, though, because it's raw and real, because there's so much trust in each other to get you to be your best. So it's hard, it's difficult, and then at other times it's so much fun, and it's so funny. It's a roller coaster back and forth. But this was one of those funny times. You need the laughter. But because of the stress, I think the laughter when it comes is so inappropriate and so funny.
And so intense.
So intense.
You just get to the point where, like you said, you're laughing so hard you're wheezing.
Yeah, like our knees back up. I was thinking about that, Jill. I was thinking about how mean you were to my husband on the last podcast after several clients commented on it. Said my poor husband, calling his dog lint. Anyhow, I was thinking about that. And then I started wheezing, laughing all on my own, standing in the kitchen, thinking about his hands. I knew you'd remember if I just said that.
Men don't need gloves.
This was years ago. We were training young Johnny. He was 7 months old at the time. And we were trying to drive Building Johnny. Johnny had a long line on, and Brian had to stop him before he got to me. And I said to Brian, here, put these gloves on. He said, men don't need gloves. So then we did the exercise, and I looked back, and Jill was just like walking with her head staring at the grass. I'm like, what's wrong with Jill? And then I looked at my husband, and he was just looking at his hands and rubbing them together.
His hands were smoking.
And it's because he tried to stop the long line on Johnny with no gloves on, and he lost the top layer of skin. But he'd been so funny saying, men don't need gloves. And then I think he left and wouldn't train with us anymore.
He went home.
You went home. And this is why you shouldn't train dogs together as a couple.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my poor husband. He's had a brutal week. Be nice.
Oh, I laughed almost this hard the other day. This morning it might have been when you posted the Marcel the Shell. I love you.
Tug. I love you.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, people.
This should bring some people into your shadow program. They'll realize how fun it could be.
So disclosure is very intense. It can be a very emotionally draining, and it could be so much fun, just like that.
Oh, a little bit of everything. Oh my God.
But I think it is. It's because it's so real. Like, it has to be so raw and so uncensored, because as soon as you're censoring, you don't get the greatness out of it. So that raw is what makes it so brilliant. But that raw also means no censoring, which
you have to be willing to give uncensored advice.
Yes.
Take uncensored advice.
Yes.
And then still be able to laugh at the end of it all.
Yeah.
And still be friends. Because people can tell you've done something that's shit. And unless you can take that and look at how you can make it better without it damaging your friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my.
And I am that person that will tell you the hard things that other people won't tell you. And it may not be nice because sometimes what our dogs do isn't nice. But I would so much rather that than some of my fellow trainers out here who aren't going to tell you, but who are going to let you go in the ring and make the judge tell you instead. That's so not nice.
Okay, here's
Be nice, Jill.
No, here's a case in point. I'm just going to throw it out there. You're at a point in your career where people that aren't at the same stage as you are afraid to tell you if something is shit. So you need people in your life that are still willing to tell you if something is bad so you can fix it.
No, I need Sheila, you, and my other people in my inner training circle to tell me. I don't need it coming for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I need the people I respect to tell me.
There still needs to be people who are willing to tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared to tell you that for a lot of years. Now I'm not.
I can't imagine anything worse than hearing it from a judge for the first time.
True. What the hell, people? Why didn't anybody else tell me I was doing this?
Everyone else is telling me how great I look, and then I go in the ring and my judge gives me some major news. That'd be awful. I can't even imagine.
Yep.
To me, that's a complete lack of respect for the person.
And I think, I don't even know if it's a lack of respect. I think that's a novice thing.
At the end of the day, it is, though, because how could you do that to someone?
Yeah, but if it's novice people that you're training with, like newbies are just going to tell you how everything looks great.
I wouldn't be training with newbies, so.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, people that are your peers, they have to be able to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Whether you want to hear it or not.
I do want to hear it. I may not.
Exactly. Sometimes you don't want to hear it.
I might not want to hear it, but I need to know it.
Yeah.
And that's the dog training journey. It's always tweaking and adapting. And right now my training is going great, so I can't wait to go training tomorrow. There are other days where it's like, what time are we training, Sheila? She won't know. Because by the time this gets posted, it'll be way too late.
It'll be next week.
Yeah. Then I get to do days of bite work. It's very exciting.
I have 3 days of doing nothing. I'm not even with my dogs. I'm away for 3 days.
Where are you going? I know where you're going.
Yes. Yep.
Traitor.
Yep. Should be fun. And then when I get back, hopefully I can set up my training area in my backyard and get my dog ready. A weekend away with my sister.
Good luck, Lorna. Good night, Jilly. Thank you for talking to me.
Good night. See you next Tuesday.
You can apologize to my husband for being horrible.
Brian knows I love him. Brian knows I've got his back. I stick up for him when you're on him. Oh my, that was funny. I love you.
What gift are you buying my husband in Vancouver? He's had a very bad week, Jill. He needs a gift. Some gloves.
Exactly.
A lint roller.
A lint roller and some leather gloves. It's never going to invite me back.
You would look at him and have no idea what your gift was.
He'd be like, thanks.
Why? Okay, thank you. Now you can get him a shirt that says, I can be meaner. Okay, good night, Jill. Thank you. Bye.